this message
They
today.
getting this message today.
Yes, child, they getting it today. I was like, what is going on? Like, oh my God, I already sent out reminders. My text
I
message is going crazy.
know.
I'm like, what is going on right now? So, I'm gonna just kind of split my screen so I can see the comments as we flow through the room.
Okay.
And so that normally works for me. Ah, I'm so happy to be here though. I'm so happy we're finally live.
Oh, I
Ah,
know.
I'm like excited because we're gonna talk all HRBP talk today. So that's what we
Okay.
I know that you have had a wealth of experience in a number of places, but
Oh
today
my gosh.
put your HRBP hat on.
It's on.
Put
It's
your
definitely
HRBP.
on.
Yes, because that's just the direction that we're going in today. I'm so excited though, because we haven't been live in a while. We've been talking about it for a while. And so
Hmm.
I know that people don't understand like how much we talk because when I just need to bounce the idea to
Yeah.
I call Akita. And I
Yeah.
absolutely love
Same.
that because I can bounce any idea. Yeah. And sometimes it's just a text message for us too,
Yeah.
right?
Or a 3 hour conversation, whichever.
You know what? Whichever we decide for the moment, whichever one works best, right? Like if it's gonna
Yes.
be a 10-hour conversation or we gonna just shoot a text. Hey, how do you do this? What break down the salary for me?
Like, am I tripping or are they tripping? Tell me.
Got it. They're tripping.
Mhm. Yep.
But I'm so happy to have you on here. I feel like, if anyone's been on the HR train for a while, then they're definitely familiar with Akita. But even if not, Akita, you in these internet streets. So I don't know how the people don't know you, child, because you in these you trading heavier than me in these numbers, I'm telling you. But I am just so excited to have you on. I know the last time I had you on, we were talking a lot of kind of overarching HR stuff because we had Dom on that time, but we're also
Hmm.
talking a lot of talent acquisition. I had the pleasure of having Cassie Adamola on last week where we talked all about like recruitment and resumes and things like that. So I'm so
Hmm.
excited to have you on where we can talk about the HRBP
I'm
role.
so
Glad. I mean, I
glad.
think the thing is that people assume that is just a new title for a journalist role. So I want us to give some clarity in that space. I also want us to kind of share with them like what can you do
Sure.
to become ready to be an HR journalist, I mean a HRBP. And
Yeah.
so I'm so excited to have you on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. You want to tell them
Thank you. Thank you.
that?
Well, I'm very happy to be here. And again, just kind of talk through this journey. Uh-oh. Did it just call me?
I didn't mean to. No, that was the
Oh,
line. Keep going.
okay. No problem. Like, it sounded like my voice.
Yeah,
But
it's
no problem. So I am very excited about this because I think this is the most intentional that I've been with my career. And you even helped me navigate this because it was a space that of HR that I really wanted to get into. And I know I've
yeah.
kind of heard your story as well. And you talked me through this. And it's such a dynamic space that even now that I'm in it, I had no idea of all of the nuances that take place, how at this point I feel like a full-blown attorney. So because
That part.
so many different cases, there's so many different things, it's such a high level of even just customer service that you're offering. So really, really happy to pivot into this space from mainly talent acquisition. So really, really excited. It's been a journey for sure.
Yeah. And this is the thing. Do me a favor because you just said something I think is super pivotal, right? You're like, I'm super excited to pivot in this place from talent acquisition. Give
Mhm.
us I know for the folks who OGs, they're familiar.
Yeah.
But for the new folks, because my community on HR has grown a lot since we went live the
Yes.
last time, do me a favor and tell us what was your like career path up into this role? Like what roles
Yes.
did you have
Yeah,
before what industry
no problem. So I got into this space initially starting as a recruiter. And so that was for a real estate company. And that I would say was the first time I was very intentional about what I wanted to do with my career because initially I was in the medical field. I had just finished my degree and I was working in the medical field because that's what I did while I was getting my undergraduate. And then said, I want to be the person on the other side of the phone that says, congratulations, you got the job.
Yes.
I wanted to be that person versus someone else controlling my destiny. So that's when I was like, I want that job. That's the job I want. And so I was very intentional when I went to this position. I was supposed to be a career, it was like a school of real estate career person, advisor of some sort. And then I said, no, I want to be in HR. So at that point, I was stalking the HR team. I was like, can I shadow with you? Can I do something with you? Is there something I can do? And the role came open. And because I just kept planting those seeds, they offered me the position. And that was my start in it. From that point, I was in the role a very short amount of time, and then we got orders. My husband's in the military, and so we got orders from Florida to Virginia. So then I was starting all the way over, no connections, no networking, I had no friends here, nothing. I was literally starting all over, and I had about, I think, maybe 4 months of HR experience at that time.
Mm.
And so I did get a position in a finance company as a recruiting assistant. And then in that role, I was promoted to a recruiting manager. And then I was recruited to another company where I was another recruiting manager. And then at that point, stayed in the recruiting pathway, but then started going up within management. So then I'd have direct reports. And so I then became a leader in the recruiting space and
Okay.
talent acquisition space. But I also had the opportunity to work in different HR departments. And so working in different HR departments, sometimes you are doing it all. You're still doing recruiting, you're
Yeah.
still doing
Yeah.
HR, you're still doing benefits, you're still doing a little payroll, you're touching a
Mhm.
lot of different things. So every time I apply for the role, I share with them like, oh, I've also been exposed to this, I've also been exposed to that. It may have only been 10%, it may have only been 12%, it may have only been 70%. It varies, but I kept
Yes.
taking all of those things, adding it to my tool belt. And so when I applied for the next position, I was letting them know, like, you're not just getting a recruiting manager, you're getting someone who does this, who does that, da 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 da. And literally that's what I did. And then when I got to, I feel like my last role, again, still as a recruiting manager, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Recruiting also just looks totally different than it did 4 years ago. The
Hmm.
space just looks completely
Absolutely.
different. There's a lot of insecurities with the market itself. So I said I really want to pivot into HR as an HRBP, and then just started. I would say maybe about 2 years ago, talking to you, talking to other colleagues. How can I do this? What are the things that you're doing? What are the things I need to learn? Was there certifications I should, so all those things started, I started grasping what that knowledge would look like. And then
Yeah.
this role presented itself, and I'm actually doing exactly what I said I wanted to do. So that's my
You know what?
journey.
And I just love that, Akita. I love that. And for the introverts in the room, I do not want to hear y'all be like, well, y'all are clearly extroverts. So this is why you do it. Like, but you have, like, my grandmother's favorite line used to be, the fish only get out the water through its mouth. And
Mm,
that's the first thing you did, was that you made it clear, like, I want to work in HR. This sounds
yeah,
like a cute little role, but I want to work in HR. And what happened? That's happened for me too.
yeah,
Even if you don't say it as joyfully as we do and with as
yeah,
much power and energy, you have to make that known. If that's doing your
yeah.
performance reviews, if that's when you first start, if that's when they just have a casual conversation of what do you want to do with your career, like, you gotta make it known. Otherwise, you stay stagnant in the one role.
Yeah, absolutely. And every time I had a conversation, the opportunity to talk to someone that had a bit of wealth of knowledge in that space or could expose me to someone else, I took it. Like, I didn't want anyone to
Hmm.
think that this is my position, I'll be here for a little bit and then I'm going home. No, 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 no. What's the next role? What's it? Because I also, after about a year, I get that itch where I want to date. I want to date around. Let's go to another company. Let's go move
Yes.
up. I'm not here to stay in this one position. Get me out of here.
Mm-mm.
What's the next
Yeah.
position?
Yeah. What's the next thing? Because not only do I just want to date, but I'm dating with intention, right? Because I really want to get more skills. I
Yeah,
want to become that competitive candidate. I want to get that salary that
yeah,
everybody's talking about. Like,
yeah.
there's so many different reasons why I want to do that. And I think so many times, especially, with several of my mentees, they put that in their back pocket. And I'm like, sis, no.
Mm-hmm.
Like, This is a mutual agreement.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
mutual reciprocity here. You ain't
Yes.
coming in as a minion or an ant, and you just
No.
working for the queen. No, child. We like. I need what I need out of this too.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm coming in. I'm going to do the work that I agreed upon, but I'm
Hmm.
leaving with something. Like Denzel Washington, I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something. And whether again, that's where whether the company's going to pay for a certification, pay for training, pay for me to go to a conference, I'm taking every tool that I can get from that organization, and I'm networking. If you send me somewhere, I'm networking with people there. I'm
Girl.
going to this meeting. I'm grabbing all the nuggets I can get. Every opportunity I'm taking. It's about me. It's all
It's
about
about me. It's about me. I'm selfish as hell. Yeah.
me. Yeah.
And the crazy thing is the more I want to, I got to talk to my people. I want to tell them hi. And you keep on dropping these big
Okay.
gems.
Okay, I'll
Like
come back.
I, we gonna forget. We know we are. So before y'all, we see y'all in the chat. We coming. We gonna say what's up. But before we do that, you said some powerful things, right? Because you're like, hey, I'm about me. Like sometimes we gotta be selfish, right? Because if we don't be selfish, people just take us anywhere. No
Yeah.
different than how people say, if I don't know my history, I don't know where I'm going.
Yeah.
Well, you already know your history. Navigate
Yeah.
where the hell you going in this career because
Yeah.
it's the same thing. And then another thing you were like is I'm networking. I'm telling people like networking does not mean I have to go on a lunch or a dinner with you every time and bring you a business card and talk only about work. Like sometimes you go to these things or you talking to people, and most times I don't even talk about anything. Like
Yeah.
we talk about the weather, the kids, the this, the
Yeah.
that, and they'll be like, oh my God, so what do you do again?
Yeah.
Oh, we have a great position for you. I think we can find something for you on the team. And
Mhm.
like something is created in a conversation, child.
Yeah.
And you know me, I like my drinks. I mean, I have drinks and all, and I'd be like, I should be talking about this like 2 drinks ago. Because I try not to do more than two when I'm out in like professional setting. But you have to like let people know. Like
Yeah.
people will be like, well, how do I do it? Open your mouth.
You have to, because a lot of times people as well, especially within organizations, they want to look internal. Like it's the cost
It
saving for
saves
them.
them money.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. The
They already know
training,
you.
they already know you're already adapted to the culture. So
Mm-hmm.
it should be a win-win.
It's a
So
win-win.
in the
We
role
forget
that
that
I'm,
we giving that much to the company.
yeah,
We forget we giving that much to the company. Child, we giving you a lot. We giving you a lot because we saving you money because it costs for you to get that talent acquisition person or that recruiter. Sometimes if we get somebody external, now you paying that 20% on top of my salary to bring me on the board. Like
mm-hmm,
now you spending all these hours, man hours through all the interview processes, you saving
mm-hmm.
all this time. Child, listen, I'm helping you out.
I'm
And
helping you.
and and let's forget this. Let's not forget this because I used to have a lot of folks in the chat that says this. They would say, well, I ask about a role and they haven't done it yet. You make up your mind what that time frame is. If they don't make that happen within that time frame, now you need to make a decision.
Yeah,
Is this
yeah,
where I want to be, or am I going to look at the next little, date? Like this
yeah.
date look real fun over here.
Because they're already asking me out over here. I
They're
already let
asking
them
me out
know
over
I'm
here.
interested. I already let
Yes.
them know on LinkedIn I'm interested. So if they're and you take me out, or they're gonna take me out. But I have options now. I
Yeah,
have
I have
options.
options. I have options.
And I think the beauty of what took place with the pandemic is it gave people a lot more confidence to be like, I do have options. I can go somewhere else, because initially, yes, when I started my career, I didn't think that I would have as many jobs as I had. And they
Yeah,
happened for
yeah,
different reasons, but I am not afraid to leave a company.
yeah, yeah,
Bye. I will
yeah.
go.
I
Bye, I'm
think
out of
now
here.
I'll say that's a double-edged sword because I do feel like the pandemic helped us to see our value and be okay with job hopping, right?
Mhm.
Um, but I also think that the pandemic has confused things for folks starting their career.
It
Because I do
has,
think that the
because
expectations are super high. Like we come in with minimal skills and we expecting 6 figures. Like I was an HR coordinator and I want to be HRBP next. Chat, please.
oh, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no. That won't work. That won't work, because you do have to plant enough of your roots. You have to get
Hmm.
that foundation, because again, even if you don't like it, you go somewhere else, you're not going to be a strong leader. You're not going to be a strong
You stress yourself
contributor.
out in HR. I'm gonna just give it
Yeah.
to you short and sweet. You're gonna stress yourself out, and then you're gonna be like, I hate HR. No, you don't hate HR. You're uncomfortable because you don't know what the hell
Yeah.
you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
All
you're
right.
incompetent, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's not a bad thing. We all incompetent in some
All
area.
have
I don't know
to.
how to do hair. I don't know how to braid hair. We were just talking about that, right? I don't, or me and my girlfriend, because I was like, I'd save so much money if I knew how to do that. I don't know how to work on cars. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know how to do lashes. I'm gonna
Yeah.
learn. I don't know
Yeah.
how to do them. We
Yeah.
all don't know something. That's absolutely okay. Be comfortable in that space so you can just try to figure out where to get that knowledge from. Miss Mina, what's going on? Hi, baby. Because if I keep me and Akita do this on the phone. If I keep talking, we go, y'all. Me and Twin, like I don't know how
Yes.
the internet ever matched us because I swear I love her and never met her in person. Like
If
when we
we
see
were
each
on
other, I'm
Tinder
jumping all over.
together, we would absolutely match. If we were like, if this is a dating site and I was looking for a friend, you would absolutely be my friend. Yeah,
We would have already shared numbers by now.
yeah, yeah.
We were out the Tinder box. Like what's going on, Andrea? She said she was coming on. She told me on LinkedIn. So happy to see you, boo. One of my amazing mentees. And good evening, good evening. Leslie, what's going on stereo? And gents, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We love a little diversity, child. Forget what the world's saying. We love diversity over here.
We absolutely do. We absolutely do.
We absolutely do. Akita, Andrea says she loves your career trajectory. I'm happy to hear
Thank
that because
you.
everybody's career path doesn't look the same, and that's okay, guys. That's okay.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna dive back into that too. Please, y'all, thank you, Miss Mina. Tell the people like the live, child, like the live. Do your girl a favor. You want me to come back on? You want to get some alerts? Like, come on, help me out. Hello, AZ. Y'all are so awesome. Hey, Deidre was good. Hey, Jennifer.
I need to get on the YouTube so I can see the
Oh,
chat. I
that
can't see the
yeah,
chat.
get on so you can see the chat. You know,
Yeah.
we had some technical difficulties. We were not intentionally being on CP time. We had little
No, we're
technical
not. We have
difficulties. I think that I've gotten so comfortable with Akita that I totally did not give her like my spiel I give to people when they first come on my live or if they haven't been on for a while, because behind the scenes looks a lot different than what you guys see. And I think I messed my sister all the way up. But child, we about to have fun, Brittany. That's what we do around here. Like we're gonna chat. I'm gonna pay attention to the chat. So if y'all got questions,
okay.
like holla at us. Tell us what y'all need to know. We just gonna chat about this HR world and we're gonna dive more so into the HRBP space because you guys know we talked about recruiting on the last one. I have an HR consultant coming on next week. This one we're gonna talk about some HRBP. So if you want to know all the HRBP talk, how to get in there, what does the day in the life look like, all those things, like holla at us. Akita, what industry do you work in as a HRBP right now?
Currently, I'm in the hospitality industry.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So I have union as well and
Oh
labor relations.
God,
Yes,
spare me.
yes.
How many members in the union?
We currently have
Roughly.
900 members.
Oh, get the hell out of here. They they,
Bye.
they don't have a HR they don't have a dedicated union person like employee relations at least.
Well, I was promoted to that role. And it's moi. It is moi. Yeah,
Damn
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. I think the beast about that is trying to learn that damn CBA because there's so many little nuances. And
And
like
it,
the parts you think is not a big deal becomes a big deal. Like you
yeah,
hear in the next grievance meeting or the next
yeah,
unionized meeting, now all of a sudden somebody's chatting. I'm like, God damn, I didn't read that section.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that book is thick. And so
Yeah.
before I even open my mouth, I'm like, let me check this book. Let me check the CBA
Mm-hmm.
because,
Mm-hmm.
it changes as well as different, as they go through arbitration or any
Mm-hmm.
updates or the new negotiations. So, like I said, I feel like a full
How
blown.
long they've been unionized?
I don't know, honestly.
Okay. I
I
feel
don't
like the
know.
longer they have a union, the easier it gets because the
Hmm.
CBA gets more clear. In my opinion, it starts covering more. I
Yeah.
feel like I'll say for our organization, right? So I did unionize employees last year.
Hmm.
Um, I think I did it for like a year, probably a little bit over, but they were unionized writers, which really threw me off because I'm so
Hmm.
used to unionized folks being like working on the trains, working on the
Blue
ports,
collar. Hmm.
UPS, like blue collar jobs, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and I know it's branched out a bit, but I wasn't expecting writers to be in a union. But I
Yeah.
learned a lot. I learned a lot. And we had just started, like we were on our first 3-year term when I got in
Yeah.
there. So I was the very first CBA that they had. And oh my God, when I say I had so many red lines and so many notes, like you said, arbitration will make
Yeah.
new situations. When you realize that you handle situations differently, now you want to kind of cover those because you don't want to
Yeah.
look like you've given favoritism.
Yep. Yeah.
In new roles, like
Yeah.
demands will change, and now you don't even have these roles included, or what does this role look like?
Yep.
We actually did a merge, where we brought an acquisition where we brought in another company. They had already had their own union, both in a guild, but different. Okay. Now we had to marry these when we bring these people on to make it work for the employee, because we obviously mandating that, hey, you got to join our union or no union at all. And I think the
Wow.
biggest issue for us was that our CBA stated that any managers, if you were a people manager at all, one person you manage in or 20, if you manage employees at all, you could not be in a union. But theirs didn't say that. So we had unionized managers.
Oh,
Yeah, so now we had to figure out, okay, we're gonna pay them more money just because we're making them unwhole.
right, right, right. And
Ah,
that's the
okay,
key
let me
word
stop before I get too deep in this thing.
right. That's the key word if they're made whole because everybody
You gotta make them whole, child.
gotta
You
make them
gotta make them
whole.
whole. And sometimes
I'm
folks
gonna
just get
shift a
my,
little bit because the light's changing. I didn't
yeah,
realize
you're
it
fine.
was
You're
dark, so
fine.
I'm gonna
I
just
close.
make sure we can still see me and hear me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna just
Yeah.
shift a little bit.
Yeah, you good, you good. Whatever you need to do. The chat getting crazy. So while you shifting, let me see what's going on in the chat because they are blowing us up and I'm loving it. All righty. Hey, oh, I haven't seen Sharice spot in a minute. I feel like you've been on before. Hello, Adiola Avnet. Hi, I'm a recruiter. Avneet. And if I pronounce your name wrong, I'm so sorry. I can totally butcher a name, and I don't mean to. So I'm a recruiter for 5 years now, trying to get in an HRBP role, but not having any luck. Any advice? I really feel like this is a question for Akita because that's the space she's been in. But while she's navigating and getting herself comfortable, I'm gonna start with just my tidbits, right? So my first tidbit is really like I don't care what role y'all going for. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care what you want to do. I don't care what your education is like. I don't care what your experience is like. You got to have that resume now speak to that position. So when we first got on, Akita said, recruitment looks a lot different than it did 4 or 5 years ago. It does. Before, I can just tell you what I did on each of these jobs, damn near copy my job description and be fine. Now I really need to show not only my experience, but I need to show that transformation of skills. And if I've never worked in that role, I need to make it clear, perhaps in your summary or your overview or your cover letter, are all like, hey, this is the role I'm searching for. This is the role, this is where I desire to take my career.
Mhm.
And then instead of just saying all the recruitment things you've done, talk about those things where you've done where you've touched that HRBP role. So
Yeah.
if you have done some onboarding, that's HRBP, right? You got to talk to more people about that. If you've done some background screenings, that's some companies have HRBPs do that. Not all of them, but some do.
Mm-hmm.
If you've done any type of training, even if it's HR, if it's recruitment focused, talk about that training. Instead of focusing on that topic, focus on that format. Like, how many people did I have attend? Was it virtual or was it online? How often was it? What was the success rate? Like, did people start performing better? Was production better? Do a survey, and say what those survey results were. Like, really kind of give those skills outside of recruitment. Don't just talk about recruitment, talk about those skills that can reach into that HRBP role. It's not going to be a lot, but it's
Mm-hmm.
going to look a lot better than just talking about, hey, I sourced this role and then I
Yeah.
did this. I did. You want to be careful about that. Akita, what's your take if I'm going from recruitment to HRBP?
Yeah, the biggest thing that I started communicating was how strategic I was. It
Mm,
wasn't a matter of, like you mentioned, how many people I sourced or how many positions I closed or, all the things that, that I did regarding recruitment stats. I started talking about my partnerships and my strategic um, partnerships that I had even with the HR business partners or what I
mm,
did that I touched as far as onboarding, helped revamp, revise the onboarding and what that looked like as far as even the success rate of adding something employee engagement related. People
mm-hmm.
really now, companies are focusing on that company culture and they're really big on culture right now. So, a couple
Yes.
of years ago it was DEI, DEI, and now it's like the culture. So,
Mm-hmm.
anything that you've done to help improve the company culture, whether it's anything or even if you're just a part of it. But I think the conversation started taking place where I started letting hiring managers know how I partner with people as a strategic person versus being in the weeds.
Yeah.
And that's what I communicated. Like, this is what I do, but also here's my strategy behind it. And that
Mhm.
was the change in the conversations, to really let them know, like, okay, she knows what she's doing. Did I know
Mhm.
everything? No.
No,
but
no.
but it
Do
really
we
was the
ever?
strategy.
Like that's the thing. Do we ever? And I think we get imposter syndrome. We know imposter syndrome
Mm-hmm.
hits heavier for minorities anyhow,
Yeah.
but we let it just literally, it don't take the front seat no more. We let it drive the car
Yeah.
when it comes to the stuff that we don't know. And it's okay, y'all, because I mean, still to this day, I don't feel like I know everything. Things change all the time.
They
Let's
do.
start with
They
that.
do. They do. But I think also too, you have to be confident with not knowing. I never go into an interview telling people I know how to do everything, because I don't want you to hold me to something I'm not exposed to. But I will let you know, this is the strategy that I will take to partner with this department, that department, to pull the
Hmm.
resources together, because that's what you are as an HR business partner. You are operating on a strategy level to pull people together who are the subject matter specialists in these
Absolutely.
different areas.
Absolutely.
So,
I think, and another thing too is what I have done in the past, because I was an interim HR director before I became an HR director, right? And
mhm,
when I went into that interview, I totally load them up with the resources I have that's going to help me stay afloat on the current and new issues that I need to know. If I'm a little insecure about something, if I want to validate that I know something, I had no problem being like, yeah, and I do this and I do that. And like I dabble that into my answers for each question to
mhm.
let them know, like, hey, I don't know it all, but I got a ton of resources that can help me
Exactly.
validate this. So I think
Exactly.
that's the next big thing. This is an interesting question because I've seen this so much in these Facebook groups for HR professionals.
Mhm.
When is an appropriate time to announce a pregnancy to an employer, especially if the employer is new? If you want me to dive into it, I don't mind.
No, you know what? And I have had this question before, and I have also hired someone who reported directly to me that was pregnant. Um,
Oh, dive in.
yeah. So when she interviewed, I did not know she was pregnant. I mean, she was a little heavier anyway, but
Hmm.
I did it. I mean, and she was sitting down. So of course she didn't say anything. I didn't know. So I was like, well, I like you. So we're gonna move forward with an offer. Now, when she did tell me, at that point, it didn't, of course I was like, well, how far along are you? Like, what does this look like? Because I wanted to make sure as well I'm setting her up for success, to determine what's the best timing, if we need to push the date back or restart your training then. So it was really more or less, I was thinking, how can I strategically figure out what's the best start time. Because
Oh, because so she told you before start date, after offer, but before start
she
date.
told me after offer, before start date.
Hmm.
So again, I think as well, even liability purposes, I couldn't be like, oh, never mind, I would get sued, so I couldn't do that. But I still wanted her. I think, again, I wasn't looking at her like, well, you have this baby, so you can't. But I think that the best time, it also depends on how far along you are. Like,
Yeah.
all that
Yeah.
matters,
Hmm.
but I would sign the dotted line first, before I let them know. I would be like, thank you for this
Yeah.
offer.
Thank you for this offer. There you
Yeah,
go.
I've signed it. So I think,
Absolutely taking your offer first, especially if it meets.
yeah.
And if it doesn't meet, we're gonna negotiate. And then once it meets, then I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah. So I would say sign the deal and then let them know afterwards at that point.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
overall it's going to give you that security if they try anything fishy based on you being pregnant, because that's not right. So then you just end up having an EEOC claim and then you can sue, but I think go ahead and tell them. I mean, you're pregnant. You're not disabled. You're
You're
pregnant.
not
It's a
disabled.
beautiful thing.
And so that's the biggest thing, right? Because you said you want to avoid liability issues.
Mhm,
And y'all, we have a pregnancy act that protects you from not being discriminated or not getting a job taken away because you're pregnant. So
mhm.
that's why it's really, I mean, we kind of give y'all some HR secrets again because people run in and tell stuff ahead of time. Well, you don't know what the discussions were. So they
Yeah,
really can easily defend that, oh, this other candidate was a better candidate
exactly.
when in actuality they wanted you, but they didn't feel like somebody being gone for a period of time. So
Exactly.
that's one thing. And so I always would tell anybody, I've told friends, hey, tell them after offer. I've even told them, tell them after, on your first date.
I was
Like
gonna say
we will
that
make sure
after
that
you sat in the seat.
And when you sit in that seat, it's done. When that background screen is done, they don't give me that name badge and
Mhm.
IT accesses. Child, let me tell you
Yeah.
something. I got a little something I want to share with you, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
give it to you. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to you just as exciting. Girl, I wanted to share some news.
Yeah.
Don't go in there with no sad face. You bring in life. Like that's a
Yeah.
blessing. Don't go
It
in there with no
really is.
sad face. I think the other thing too is she said when you're new. So Sherry, however I need to pronounce this, let me know what new looks like, right?
Yeah.
Because new can be a lot of things. Okay. Awesome. I'm coming to that. I'm gonna finish your other question. So new people get worried about what new looks like. First of all, my first answer, now Akida's answer has always been my go-to. But I know that the older I get and I see people have struggles with pregnancies, I'm going to tell you now, it's totally shifted. Where my
Hmm.
number one response is tell when you're comfortable. Like
Hmm.
Akita said, pay attention to the time frame. Because myself, I have miscarried before. And
Hmm.
I would
Hmm.
hate to have shared that information. And this didn't happen while I was working in HR or, I was good to go. But I would have hate to share that information and then have someone asking me later, like, what's going on with the baby and having
Yeah.
to go through that information, right? So tell
Absolutely.
when you're comfortable. Tell when you going when y'all feel like, okay, we setting this gender reveal date, or we doing this little tell in the family thing. That's the
Yeah.
time you could tell a job, right? But you're gonna tell
Yeah.
them after you already started, and then definitely after offer. The next thing I'll say is pay attention because people get all caught up on the fact of like, well, this should happen, that should happen. Read your handbook. Read your handbook because your handbook's going to tell you if you're going to continue to get paid. Your handbook's going to tell you if you qualify for FMLA to save your position because people think FMLA pays them. No, it saves your position. So
Hmm.
if you've been there for a year or however many hours, 1,248, whatever,
Hmm.
then okay, cool, you're good. FMLA is going to protect you. Just keep in mind that when you're new, you're probably not protected with FMLA,
No.
which means you could go out on maternity leave and not come back to a job.
Yeah.
Second thing is you want to look at those benefits because some benefits have different contracts. They vary, y'all. They vary. Sometimes they can vary from year to year at the same company,
Yep.
where some benefits will not cover pre-existing issues
Hmm.
before you got employed
Yeah.
within a certain period of time. So pay attention to that. That's not always pretty and colorful. So that's where you need HR because they know that contract. But
Hmm.
you also want to pay attention to, okay, when can I start using PTO to supplement my pay? Or if I have short-term disability, does it cover 40%? Does it cover 50%? Does it cover 100%? Do I
Hmm.
qualify for
Yeah.
short-term disability? Like you want to pay attention to those things. Absolutely. Look at your premiums because it's going to change when you have this baby. Compare it to your spouses. What does this look like? And who has the better benefit? Mainly for the hospital spot in the first year of your child being born because that's the most expensive time. So I hope we
Hmm.
answered that thoroughly because I feel like we did, child.
Yeah,
We
you
going
did
deep on
because
that
that's
one.
again, it goes back to what we said before. This is about you. You
Mhm.
have to, and I think that's the thing is know your stuff, know what your benefits are, and the benefits aren't a secret. Like if you need to talk to someone in the benefits department, go directly to that person so they can break down. Here's what we are. Here's what the benefits have. This is what covers for you. Here's what you don't have, and that way you can make the best assessment for you and your partner regarding what the next couple of months would look like. But
Yeah.
you did
Yeah.
hit on a very good thing. You don't have to say it right away. You don't have to but it also doesn't have to come with that shame either. I think
Yeah. Yeah.
historically it did, but now it doesn't have to come with that level of shame if
Yeah. I
it's
feel like there's been a
interfering.
little bit of a shift these days. I feel like people
Yeah,
come with more
yeah,
enthusiasm than they did previous
yeah.
times now.
But if you're like throwing up every day and you're like, I need to kind of tell somebody like why I keep going to the bathroom every day, then you probably at
Yeah.
that point need to go ahead and just tell someone just so they can make sure you're good.
Yeah.
But
And they don't think that's the lack in performance. Yes, because it
yeah.
would affect your work. I remember one time we had just changed to this three-step interview process, right?
Mhm.
And so the first step was obviously, or ironically, the first step was with the hiring manager. Then that hiring manager would say, okay, do I want them to move on? And so our company was so small, we had 105 employees, that our CEO and our COO
Mhm.
together, they would interview a second panel and then say if they go to meet with the peers for the final panel, right?
Mhm.
And both of them are male and we're in South Carolina. Well, you familiar with South Carolina? So we're in Charleston. We had
Mhm.
offices in Charleston, Columbia, and Greenville. Greenville's a 4-hour drive. They crazy stuff all the way to Greenville, interview like 2 or 3 candidates because it was a weird time. We were really aggressive about this recruiting. So they're like, we do whatever.
Yeah.
So they went up there and like interviewed the candidates. And we were doing this strategic thing where we were like, okay, we need to like kind of, we didn't have enough people to train them. So we're
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, we need to stagger these start dates. So
Yeah.
this girl had gotten a start date that was 3 months past her interview date. Obviously, we did offer and background screening, but her start date was later. And
Mm-hmm.
she came in on the first day and she was clearly pregnant.
Right. A lot happened in those 3 months since we last saw you.
They freaked out. Like I said that to her. I literally said to her, I said, "Man, we've been busy in the last 3 months." She was like, "Mm-hmm." I was like, we're gonna do new hire orientation and we'll come into my office and we'll chat about it. But it was so funny because of course I take them on this tour to meet everybody, and that became like the gossip of like, did you
Yeah.
see the new hires clearly pregnant? And so the CEO and the COO ironically didn't come looking for me. So I went to them and I said, "Hey guys," and they're like, yeah, we know you're about to
Yeah.
get on us. And I'm like, y'all ain't noticed this was like 6 months pregnant, but she was a thicker person. You know,
Yeah.
she was fluffy, so I could totally get it. She even said to me, I wore a blazer. So like
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
clear, but it was hilarious. They were like, okay, Timeka, I think the only thing we can do now is we need to stop with these staggered start dates.
Yeah,
I was
because if
like,
they would have started her earlier, she just already would have been in the role, getting acclimated.
I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, but she still had to take time off. I think the
Yeah.
biggest thing for her, which surprisingly she came back, the biggest thing for her was like she didn't get full benefits or job security,
Mm-hmm.
but we didn't take the job.
Yeah.
A lot of companies, in my opinion, are being a lot better about that. So we have
Mm-hmm.
somebody that has an interview on Friday, and they want to know any tips for the interview. Final round interview, third and final round. What are the tips?
Congratulations.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
Lacey.
That's a big deal. What is the role
That is
for?
a
Did
huge
she
deal.
say? Did he or she say?
Lacey, what's the role for? Nope, Lacey only dropped that one liner because she was like, I'm gonna just drop this
Okay.
in here and y'all give me back. Well, Lacey, while you telling us what this role is for, I will say that the first thing you want to do is kind of brush up on your thoughts from what happened in those first two rounds. What were some of the pain points you noticed? What were some of the leading people or the folks that seem like they kind of led the group? All the time we don't know by titles. Sometimes it's
Mhm.
personality where we can tell with a group flocks to this person. So what were some of those pain points and what are the successes you can bring to that? Like what are your skills that you've done really well and that you can bring to that? You want to highlight that in that last one. I would definitely pay attention to who I'm interviewing with and research shit out of them. And I'm gonna start with
Mhm.
LinkedIn because I want to
Mhm.
know who I'm gonna see and what kind of how do they fit into the organization, what questions they may ask. I would also go back and start thinking about like questions I absolutely want to know.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes we go through these interviews and we forget to ask questions that are important to us. But if cultures are important, I'm gonna kind of think about those and direct culture questions. Some of my things would be like, what has made you stay here so long? Like, what do you enjoy about the company? You
Mhm.
can notice a lot because if somebody dive in and just start talking, they love this damn company. But they be like, well, you want to answer it first? Bam, they don't like being there either.
Yeah.
So I think those are my biggest things. I definitely say to if it's in person, kind of look at your posture, pay attention to how you're kind of walking in there, taking your confidence, review your own resume, make sure you
Mhm.
point out the right things. But if it's virtual, then definitely kind of test that line, that link, make sure, like test it with your girlfriends or whatever, make sure it works, make sure you can access it, make sure your background looks like it's not busy, that
Mhm.
type of thing. Beyond that, I would say and I don't know. I know Akita is a lady of faith, and so I feel comfortable saying it with her. I
Mhm.
pause with other people, but the first thing I'm gonna do is just pray to the Lord.
Mhm.
Like I
Mhm.
need the Lord to guide me through this and take
Yeah.
me because He can totally make miracles happen. What are you thinking, Akita? Third and final
Absolutely.
round interview.
Yeah, this is a good thing. I think because at this point you progress because they want to see if they really do want to go ahead and move forward with an offer. I would reference back to anything that they have mentioned or opportunities for the organization and
Yeah.
even see if there's something that you can offer them. Like you don't have to put a PowerPoint together or anything, but see if there's something you can offer to some of their initiatives that they have talked about they want to kick off, so you can even reference back to your experience to give you a little bit more time to brag on some of the things that you've done. If there was something else that you wanted to share that you didn't, then I would ask a question around that so that I can talk about it. So for example, if they say if you want to ask them something around culture, what does your um, uh, employee engagement look like? Do you have business resource groups? And they're like, oh, actually, we have this and this. I'm like, oh, well, at my last job, what I was able to do was I started this BRG and we were able to do this and this. And I also hosted, this virtual thing. So go ahead and set yourself up for the brag.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that way you can reference it if you didn't mention it before, or if even if they said, oh, well, these are some of the things that you would be doing in your role, you can again reference back to it. Oh, great. I was thinking about something I talked to when I was talking to Tiffany in my last interview, and I was able to share with her this and this and this. So I would just really set yourself up to make sure they know you're the man or woman for the role. And that's what I would do for my last interview. Pray as well, because again, you want to be able to give yourself discernment, and ask God to make sure that he's touching the interviewers, that he's touching you, and that y'all are aligned, and this is the place for you to be. Because if it's not, you'll know, and you won't be losing anything if that's not the right role for you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think at this point, if you haven't asked it already, it's a good time to also ask like how eager are they to hire? Because sometimes we don't hear something in like a week and then we think somebody ghosted us when in actuality they're not planning on hiring somebody for another month. So
Yeah.
definitely ask about how eager they are to like hire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, all
And
right, Lacey, let us know.
that's
We help you.
go ahead.
Hmm?
No, I was gonna say I've had people, get to a final round interview and they're asking very vague questions that don't apply to anything. Like, they may say something along the lines of, you can tell they got the question from like the internet. And I'm just like, pay attention to what people are saying and just be an
Definitely.
active listener. So if they're bringing up
Yes.
something, bring it back to them. Like, I think that's the biggest thing to seal a deal, versus saying, like, tell me what your 5-year plan is. No, if they're talking about, um, you know, a shift in social media, or how they want to market their positions, or how they want to, expand the organization, or they're looking to, talk about the things that they're talking about, what's important to them.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
what's important. What's important to them, bring it back and boomerang it back to them.
Yeah,
But
by the time you get to that third one, you should only be hitting on those sweet spots because by now you done heard enough of it,
yeah,
of whatever their sweet spots are. Because by the third interview, they
yeah.
getting into some stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
like just keep in mind too that the candidates are less by the time you get to the third interview,
Mm-hmm.
but they're strong. So
Mm-hmm.
you have some other people who hitting it just like you. So just be prepared to like go in there, like Akita said, you setting yourself up for the brag and also like asking questions that are related to what they're looking for. Like don't go in there with these fluffy questions. But but at the end, like just Tamika, you got any other questions you want to ask us? Yeah, how eager are you to hire? Like that's gonna be my
Mm-hmm.
last one. I ain't starting with that at the beginning. That's not gonna be the focus of our conversation. Um, but it's something I do want to know because sometimes we get to the third and it gets a little difficult. Sometimes they're waiting on budget. Sometimes they're
Mm-hmm.
waiting on IT to tell us when we can start. This person, it's so many different things that can hold you back. Andrea has a question. Andrea said, I'm in employee relations and labor relations now. We currently have 2 unions on campus. Ooh, higher education. Also, FMLA and parental leave coordinator. But you know what? Those universities, they always got a gazillion titles, child.
Yeah, they do. But I feel like they have more support there on site. Like, wouldn't they
I
have
feel
more
like they
support?
do, but I feel like they're so slow. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
just like government and federal. I'm not a big fan of higher education for HR because I feel like both run so slow. You
Mm-hmm.
really can't get your skill toolbox up the way you want
Yeah.
to or as fast as you want to. Like things
Mm-hmm.
just move slow.
Yeah. There's a
So
lot of red tape.
a lot of red tape, a lot of budget concerns. Um, yeah, Monica said the CBA is her first resource. I'm with you, child. Yeah.
I'm looking on my phone at the chat since I can't see it on the computer, so I'm not
Oh,
checking
you're fine. You
messages.
girl, where you think we at in class? Akita, what are you doing on your
Yeah,
phone?
I was like, no, I'm not being rude. I just can't see the chat, and I wanted to
No,
make
no,
sure
no,
I
you're
hit on
good.
something.
You're so good. Okay. Recently started working on my first HR related role, helping with employee onboarding. Awesome. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Ah, I have a master's in HR, but no experience in HR. What's my first step to get started? Your first step to get started is that resume, in my opinion. Like people ignore it. People think like, okay, I got this master's. I should get the job tomorrow. When I got my master's, I thought I should became a manager like last week because I'm
Mhm.
like, I already really technically graduated because I finished all
Yeah.
classes. We're just doing the ceremony. No, child, you got to make sure folks know what's going on. So
Yeah.
I think that's if you ask me what master's degree or no degree, I'm going to tell you the same answer. My
Hmm.
answer is always going to be get that resume where it should be. And my second answer is always going to be networking. Those are the fastest ways, in my
Hmm.
opinion. Then there are other ways you can do it.
Yeah.
But to me, those are the fastest ways. Like get out here and talk to some folks. Even if that's in a DM, even if that's, recruiters posting jobs and you just commenting on their stuff and then you finally hit them, they like that engagement. They so happy that, Tamika stay liking my stuff and she stay
Yeah.
commenting. They're gonna probably pay attention to your DM. Keep it short and sweet and attach your resume. But that's one way to network. Get into these HR groups on Facebook. That's another way to network. Like do some non-traditional networking. And Facebook, I feel now has like a gazillion HR groups now. Like
Hmm.
just put your resume out there or put in a nice little post. I mean, I'm a bigger fan of a short two-liner and then your resume to say, hey, reach out to me. But people have been doing it other ways. I see that the most successful way is a short 2 to 3 liner of, hey, I don't have a job or I just finished my master's degree. This is my experience. This is what I'm looking for. This is my resume. Y'all know anything? And them folks will eat that up versus
Yeah.
you going through all of your skills. They're gonna hit you with more questions in there than anything. Um, the folks want to see the receipts. So what are your suggestions? I got my master's degree, no experience. How do I get
Yeah.
started?
So funny that I actually got that question this morning from someone that my husband was working with. And he's like, oh, they have a question. They just got their degree in HR and they want to get their certification. And I feel the same way about the certification as I do about a master's, as I do about a bachelor's in HR. If you have no experience, it means almost nothing. It's not that it's not valid, but experience trumps in again, even if I had a PhD, not even say a PhD, if I was a physician, I went to school to be a doctor, but I have yet to touch a person, that degree means nothing. You're not
Akita,
a,
we're identical twins at this point. We're
I
identical.
know you're
We're
not a
identical. We
doctor to
came out
me
of
if
the
you
same egg and everything because I agree. Say it again for the people. Shit, I'm so
you've
tired of saying it.
got to get that experience and get it and you can get it in so many different ways. You can get it
So
in
many.
starting in recruiting, you can start in as an HR specialist, HR generalist, you can start in payroll, you can start in total rewards, you can start in benefits. There's so many different departments and subgroups that you could be a
And now
part
they
of.
have these courses they didn't have when we started our career.
There were no courses. There
There were
were,
no courses you can take
yeah,
like free for all out there. A lot
yeah,
of people now have HR dedicated channels, just like myself, so you can learn
yeah.
from there. And then I'm so happy you said that because not only do I not have experience for the job, right?
Mhm.
But that certification is a beast. Like I
Yeah.
took that like 4 or 5 years into my career and still
Mhm.
walked out there like, yep, I don't know HR. Clearly, I don't know. I deserve to fail. When I failed that first time, I was like, sure did deserve it.
Yeah, yeah,
Like it looked like foreign language to me. And
yeah.
some people are great test takers. I'm not never gonna take that away from people, but and some people are amazing crashers. Like they'll crash and study like crazy and then pass the
Mhm.
test. But I'm
Mhm.
gonna tell you hands down, like child, that thing gonna look like foreign language if you just
Yeah.
go and say, okay, I'm gonna study for a few weeks, a month, and I'm gonna go ace this, and you have no experience. So
Yeah.
absolutely get that resume targeted and ready and speaking to HR, even if you obviously you don't have experience, please don't use these words like clients and customers and you want to always call them people employees or
Mhm.
stakeholders. Like y'all make it look like HR.
Yeah.
Don't talk about, don't use lingo that's used in like that industry or you commonly use. Use HR's kind of specific words. Talk to them as people or employee
Mhm.
or um, you know, another thing is that people will no, Mika, come on, bring it back. I had a good thought and now it's going away. It's leaving me. Come back, baby, come back. I need you. I think
It'll
another
come.
thing is that people fail to like look at that job description and truly dissect it. Because if you're
Yeah.
not familiar with that job description, like what I used to do before I started working in HR, but did a little bit in the beginning, I would take those bullet points and the words I didn't understand, I would like either highlight them or underline them. And then I Google, what does this mean? Because
Mhm.
I want to make sure I understand what this bullet point is saying so that I can think about whatever relevant skills or transferable skills I have, that's what I should be putting on my resume. Because if it's in the job description, that's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Don't sometimes I see people working like real estate or they'll work in sales and they come with how much money they made, and they made they got recognized as salesperson of the year. We ain't give a damn about none of that HR. How you work with them
No.
people?
Because most companies do not view HR as revenue generators. So talking about it doesn't matter. Again, it goes back to what they are looking for and catering your customizing your resume to what they're looking for. And even a lot of times, when you see recruiters post their positions, hey, I'm really looking for someone that's very dynamic. They're now telling it up front. I'm
They are
looking for
now
a person that
telling
have
child.
this.
Yeah.
That's me. Hey, Timeka, I saw your post that you on LinkedIn. I had a great in my last two roles, I had the opportunity to do da 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 da. Here's my resume. I love to schedule time to talk. I'm available this week. I put it out there. This is what you're looking for. I've got that.
That's
Here's my
me. That's
resume. And
me.
I'm available this week. Like, I don't mince words. I don't let me know if this time works for you. Let me know.
Let me know if this is what you're looking for. Did I
I
tell
am what you're
you?
looking for. It's me.
I'm what
Okay.
you're looking for.
I'm what
It's
you're looking for,
me
and
you're
I'm
looking
available
for.
Monday through Sunday to talk. What day works best for you? You have to
And I don't
be,
know what you use, so I'm giving you my phone number. I'm gonna give you my LinkedIn, and I'm gonna give you my email. Like, I don't
yeah,
know which avenue you want to contact me, so I'm gonna give you everything.
yeah,
Have your way.
yeah. Absolutely. I also, when people are posting openings on LinkedIn, I don't respond to the post, like the public post. I will just DM them. Like
Yeah,
I've
yeah. A
never,
lot of people do that.
yeah, I've not seen anyone. Well, not for me, but yeah, I DM them directly.
No, I might engage with the post. I might hit like or something to give
Yeah.
them engagement. But yeah, if I really want that, I ain't
Mm-hmm.
coming. I'm so happy to hear that, Sherry. Oh, thank you. She said that
Thank
my
you,
resume
Sherry.
review videos help her land a new role.
Okay. Oh, and let me
Child,
also
listen.
add this. I
Hmm.
do not have a degree in HR. I do not have a certification at all.
Shut
So,
up. You
no,
dropping gems. I don't know nothing about, and you talk to HR like you were like fully loaded.
yes,
Oh my God, I love this.
I'm the prime example of, not saying that I don't want to get it or that it's not
Yeah,
important,
yeah.
but it doesn't stop you. And I don't want people to invest more money into it to think that that's how they can get
I
into it.
love this.
You don't need
Tell the
to.
people again, just in case they ain't here. Tell for the people in the back.
You do not. Okay, no, I do not have a degree in HR. I do not have a certification at all. And I have been able to flourish in this industry. You do not need it. And I do not want people to invest that money without that experience. My experience is what got me
And
going
y'all,
over.
I'm gonna be clear with y'all. I'm not talking about her current role because we haven't talked about her current role. But I will be clear, like Akita has made more than my six figures, if she don't mind me sharing that. I
I
didn't
don't
share
mind.
it, child. So she's had higher salaries than me, who has the double, triple master's degree. Lord, I hate saying triple, but three master's degrees. I have my MBA, I have my HR management, HR leadership, all master's degrees, highest level HR certification, SHRM SCP, and she's made more money than me. No certification, no degree. Cool. Yeah.
Degree, it's just not in HR.
It's not in HR.
It's not in HR. It
And
was in
y'all ain't got
customer
to go
service.
fishing after these HR degrees. Like,
Yeah.
let them companies pay for them things, man.
Yes.
If I could do it all over again, I'd let my companies pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, because the BS, I got paid, I paid the like $1,000 to like $700 or $900 for materials and then $300 setting fees. So whatever that total was,
Mm-hmm.
that my company, after I became certified, only gave me back $300.
Oh.
Such a slap in the face.
Mm. But they are also, I saw recently that they're offering more incentives. Like, for example, if you're a student, if you're a military spouse,
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
military, if there's some other things. So they're offering some different more discounts that I saw initially. But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
um,
I feel like they are. I feel like they are. I feel
mhm.
like they're branching out and becoming more competitive. But I just think I'm so happy to say that because the only other example I know is one that I know I haven't got permission to share, but I know
Mhm.
other HRBPs that aren't certified and
Yeah,
doesn't have HR degrees, and like y'all just stop that now,
yeah.
stop wasting them people money, like y'all wasting y'all could have then go ahead and put tires on the car. Hey, y'all is getting degrees and stuff, man, child, please,
Yeah.
pay that credit card off. Don't be paying for these
Yes.
people. I tell people all the time, you ain't using this degree artist certification at happy hour. Like you're not having a good time with it. You
Hmm.
use it only at work. Let them pay for it. They're getting more of a benefit out of it than us.
They do. They do. And then you can just take that with your next company. Or, mm-mm.
Yeah, easy. Andre, you already know what time it is. She said Tamika Green will help you land a job for real. I love it. I love it. What other websites are there to find HR roles? Listen, it's too many. Um, I made a list. Oh, I give that to my mentees because I made like a list of some places because there's like HR, I think it's HR Devil Jobs. It's like hrjobs.com. It's very few, but honestly, kind of think about what you want. Because me, I will go into Indeed, I'll go into LinkedIn, and then I still filter down. Do I
Mm-hmm.
want a company of a certain size? Do I want one that's only going to be remote? Like you're going to find a lot of them. Kind of think about the companies you like. Like if you
Yeah.
really enjoy Target, if you really enjoy banking at Bank of America or whatever, if they already have an atmosphere that you enjoy, go to their
Mm-hmm.
website and see what's on their career section. So there are very few HR dedicated roles. You can go to HR Girlfriends and LinkedIn too. That's another one. There are
Mm-hmm.
very few HR dedicated ones. I think the highest I can, and I did some searching, and the highest I can get that list was like 4. So I probably already mentioned all of them. But there are HR jobs everywhere. Like
Yeah.
just look on these companies' websites. You
Yeah.
can go into the job section in LinkedIn and put in human resources, and all the positions will come up.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Let
don't
the
don't
job boards work for you. You don't
let
have
them
to
job
go
boards
to
work
the
for you.
dedicated. And I don't know anyone who's said, "Oh, I went to this particular website and that's how I got this HR position," because there's HR almost everywhere where there's all these different companies, the industries you just mentioned. So somebody has HR representation. So it doesn't even have to be HR focused. It really can be,
Mm-hmm.
oh, Skims has an HR department, so you really can just let the job boards filter your search for you, whether it's based off the location, whether it's based off the hybrid, remote, let the job board filter it for you because you can just
Yeah.
customize
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're absolutely correct.
Mm-hmm.
I love it that Andrea is just going back and forth with Sherry. Sherry's just got the new job and she's pregnant. And so she wanted to know about that. But they've been kind of going back and forth about that. And like at the end of the day, she said she knows she wouldn't qualify for FMLA. She was nervous. She already started. Child, don't be nervous because that's your I would be exhaling. Whew, I didn't start. We
Yeah.
are but I guess I could see the nervousness because you don't qualify for FMLA.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I take thanks to the Lord because I know that whatever's for me, that the Lord has planned for me, is gonna be for
Mm-hmm.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes I can be dodging a bullet, but at the end of the day, I want to bring a healthy child here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do want to pay the bills, so I'm gonna be very careful about how I spend my money.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna make sure my child comes in healthy. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
and yourself,
Yeah. And you
you
got
know.
this job, so if it doesn't work out for whatever reason, you'll get another one. Like
Yeah, amen.
you've already proven that you got this. So
Oh, sis,
if it
the
doesn't work
sister
out, then
say,
you can do it again.
oh, I see why sis going like sis 3 days in, child. I love
Oh,
it.
it's good there. How
She
far along
does.
are you? Like, I mean,
Yeah,
well,
how
none
far
of this
along
matters.
are you? She
Yeah.
didn't say in here how far along she is. She's still early. She haven't even told family members. Girl, take your time. I wouldn't tell them a damn thing.
Yeah. You're
I
probably
keep
not
on
even
baking
showing her
that
anything.
baby. Mm-mm.
Congratulations, though. Be happy about this.
Yeah, like, yeah, I wouldn't even worry right now. Listen, y'all just, I mean, like Akita said, I get nervous if I'm disappearing a lot, but that's only typically it only happens in the first trimester. I will say I
Mm-hmm.
was sick all the way till I was 6 months pregnant. And
Mm-hmm.
I had my or 7 months, I had my daughter at 8. But
Mm-hmm.
like if it's not affecting your work, I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Andrea. Andrea, you telling all the right stuff. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I always say FMLA is a protected benefit which uses your leave if you don't have leave when you'll be in a non-pay status. Alrighty, alrighty. Child, the staggered start dates, child. That culture question has helped me avoid some bad. Yes, the culture questions help. Prayer does go a long way. Alrighty. Is it their opportunity to move up? But then is there opportunity to move up? Oh, there's always opportunity. Quan, there's always opportunity to move up in HR. Like, and even if you don't move up at that company, because see, y'all go marry these companies now. Y'all marry these companies. if they don't have opportunity for you to move up, they tell you right there, y'all just dating. It's time to go to the next opportunity. That's what I do. You ain't got no spot for me. I know, like, the first job I had, the first two, my HR directors were both very, very clear on when they were retiring. And one, it was going to be like another 13 years. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
chilling for a little bit. And then the next one, she told me a time frame, extended it a whole nother year, and then went back to, well, I don't know what's going to happen because the like President Obama had just came out, I believe. Either came in or came out, but the whole thing with ACA became a thing and she needed health care. So I think I'm gonna just stay a little bit longer through this. Oh, okay, cool. I'm out. Like, don't
Yeah.
take it personally. I'm not waiting another 4 years and they get reelected another 4 years. And then before they make a change of healthcare, probably another 2 years. So you want me to sit here for 10 years? Child,
Yeah.
please. I'm
Yeah.
out.
And every time, and we're actually hiring at my job, and my director and I, we were kind of talking back and forth, and there was someone who has a lot of HR experience, like they're 20 plus years, and we were like, no. And the reason for that is because they were at the same company. And when you're at the same company without any
Talk about it, child.
progression,
Talk about it.
you've almost stifled yourself because you've limited your amount of learning because you only know what's in your bubble for the last 20 years, and you're not viable, you're not agile, you're not flexible, you haven't seen all the stuff that's out here. So I would rather, and we have interviewed people who have over 10 years or 20 years or whatever, had several different um positions because now you look more versatile. And again,
Mm-hmm.
why they left those different organizations, the reasons are all different. Same as myself, the reasons are all different why I left. But if I knew there was not any room for me there, bye, I'm leaving.
Bye.
But if you are in a position where what you're looking for is to stay grounded, stay put, not move, then find that spot and stay there. That's
Yeah.
okay too.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm getting up to the top. So I had to move that way. And if there wasn't any way to move, okay, then I'll just take what you gave me. I'll take
Mm-hmm.
the networks that I got, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll go ahead and do what I gotta do. So
That's all
that's
I'm
why
gonna
I
do,
say it's so
child.
important to be vocal about what you want. Doesn't mean, oh, I don't like this company, I don't want to be here anymore. Just be vocal about what it is you're looking for. I'm
Mm-hmm.
really interested in getting more experience. If y'all have a career fair, can I go with you? I know that y'all have a senior leadership meeting. Can I attend that senior leadership meeting and get some exposure? Rub
Mm-hmm.
elbows with people, be a part of special projects. And then those special projects more than likely are transferable to the skills that you can have in HR. Here's one thing I always tell people is like, get up your brag sheet, and not only just for yourself, because again, if you leave a company, your email shut off, you saved all that stuff in that folder, doesn't matter. Put that stuff on your LinkedIn. You tell me right now, hey Akida, thank you so much for your help on that project. I couldn't have done it without you. Like that. Could you go ahead and put that on my LinkedIn page for me, please? Can you because at the end of the day,
We are twins. We are
yes,
twins. You just say
get
everything. I always say,
people
y'all, I
to
didn't coach her,
validate.
y'all. I didn't coach her.
Yeah, no. I literally get people to validate your LinkedIn profile because that's your virtual resume, regardless of what company you're at or where you left. No one's gonna take back their recommendation. Be like, oh,
And the
you're gone.
jobs
I'm
you
taking this
don't
recommendation off.
see, they're not. And the jobs you don't see are going to see that.
Yeah.
The ones that ain't posting that HR position, because the HR is very good
Mm-hmm.
about hiring for roles confidentially. Because
Mm-hmm.
we know that when we post a job, we're going to get like 1,000 resumes the
Yeah.
first day. And now it adds more work and make it way longer and
Yeah.
more exhausting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times that so many HR positions are like posted in networks and on social media because they don't want to post it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to see that LinkedIn where you have those recommendations. Make sure, don't just put the job in the company y'all work for in a time frame. Like, dump in the copy and paste on your resume and dump in your duties as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's Sherry said that she's 11 weeks in, and she's 11 weeks in, and it was something else she made me laugh about. She said she's 11 weeks in, which I'm like, girl, take your time.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
thing she made me laugh about, she was like, my last job I worked all the way up until she gave birth. It says replay, says replay.
Listen, if I have a secret, I'm gonna tell Sherry because listen, homegirl can.
Sherry can keep
I'm
them
not saying
secret.
anything about nothing.
I don't care. Y'all see this big old bump. Ain't nothing. I got
Yes.
gastroparesis. Ain't nothing. I'm hungry. I just been eating too much.
Yeah.
No, no, no. I had too much for lunch too, child.
Yeah.
You did not
Yeah.
see a leg rolling in there. That you didn't see my stomach
No.
moving. Listen, I was going to recycle them sundresses.
Okay, okay. Especially when it starts getting cold, I'll be in them coats bundled up. But again, it really depends on. There's no time frame. Like no one says, all right, at 12 weeks, you gotta tell your employer. None of that
And
doesn't
I pray
exist.
that doesn't change. And I don't
Yeah.
even, I try not to talk about politics, but we on my platform. So um I'm talking about all kind of things I don't talk about in the workplace. I don't talk about religion. I don't talk about politics, but that's why y'all got to be careful who y'all vote in
Mm-hmm.
because those people are making changes that can definitely trickle down to the company.
Yeah.
If you telling me that I can't, somebody unrate me, but I can't go out here and abort this baby that came from a whole stranger that already traumatized my life.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about my child's genetic history. I don't know anything about, this person's health situation. I don't know anything. This child can come out and look just like the whole same person. I'm reminded for the rest of my life that I got raped. You taking that right away from me. There's so many people that have difficult pregnancies with babies that are already causing really issues or
Mm-hmm.
babies that have not made it. And now they're saying like a regular DNC is an abortion. Well, the baby isn't alive.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want me to do? So you want to make my decisions on my pregnancy. These companies paying attention to this, and it
Mm-hmm.
could potentially go into a snowball effect where they make this federal rule of you have to tell your company at this
Yeah.
particular time.
Yeah.
Like, so y'all be careful who y'all voting in because those things matter. Because FMLA came from President Clinton back in 1993 because
Mm-hmm.
people were getting fired the second they go
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Like they were getting fired.
Mm-hmm.
No job security. That's how much politics plays into the workplace too.
It
So
does.
anyhow, all right, I'm off my soapbox, child.
No, that's a very good point. It really is. It matters. We're coming with election season, and I think, like I said, these things are important versus just who's my president. You have to see what they're about and how it's going to impact you.
Yeah, yeah. What a plan looking like. Alrighty, so we're gonna look at this one last one, and then we getting off of here because a lot of folks didn't tell us good night anyhow. Hey, Mighty Zane, you so welcome, Sherry. Would you say that human resources within different industries is better or sticking to a certain industry and human resources similar to healthcare? I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think unless you have a plan to work in a particular industry, like I had a plan or I had a dream, because I'm gonna tell you, I didn't think it was one that can come through. I had a dream that I wanted to work in technology. I was like, I absolutely want to work in a tech space. I didn't think it would become real for me because at the time there wasn't so many opportunities that were remote. I would have had to relocate, right?
Mhm.
Um, I knew that, and so I made up my mind that okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just try to touch every industry. So when I get the technology, which is a new industry I've never worked in, I have enough experience from other industries to kind of tie together
Mhm.
what the tech industry might need or to at least get experience from each places to kind of fit that role. It was my dream to also be HRBP. So I kind of went around in different industries. But what also helped me go into different industries is when I left local government and I went into clinical research, what we were making was so powerful to the regular everyday person that for a while I was stuck where I was like, I'm only going to a company where I match with the mission. Like I love the drive from the employees. Like employees, their argument was rarely when I work in clinical research and when I work in organ and tissue donation, it would became a common thing that their argument wasn't that oh, this person just did this wrong. Their argument was always, how is this going to affect the patient? What are we doing to the family? Like it was so mission focused.
Oh wow.
This isn't going to be good for the family. And I like that because I don't hear that
Yeah.
pettiness. Like, she
Yeah.
come in and turn her music on and I don't even listen to that. And it's her headphones too loud. And she like the windows, the blinds closed. And all that, man, we grown. I don't want to hear
Yeah.
that. But if you
Yeah.
coming to me saying, well, Tamika, this sounds good, but with her being on the going to take care of this family. This is a new case. She's going to work 23 hours. I think the family wants to see the same nurse this whole time. That's
Mhm.
more impactful to me.
Yeah.
And so for a while, I was mission focused. And then I became, it was a company that made me say, hell with the mission. I need the money. And so I went in
Yeah.
the tech
And
field.
the thing is, with your career, you can ebb and flow. I think I've been in the same position where I was like, I don't have time for this,
Yeah.
culture stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
need my money to add up. Okay. Take me I need over the six. However y'all need to find the money, y'all need to get me over that. So, there was a place where money was important. Like I need this
Mm-hmm.
money. But, again, I think I'm kind of coming at the position where I'm plateauing a bit and I'll start to decline within the next 5 years or so.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think that you just have to be clear on where you are because that's when like, all right, well, this is what I'm looking for, and this is what's going to make me happy. This
Mm-hmm.
is going to make me fulfilled. And if you have
Yeah.
a very active personal life where your work, I mean, your home life is very busy, you got a lot of transitions, then maybe a very demanding position isn't what you want to look for. So
Mm-hmm.
really, the seasons can change on what you're looking for as part of your career.
Yeah, so it doesn't, it really,
Mhm.
you really don't have to worry about staying stuck to like an industry or anything like that, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I've never noticed that that's a big deal. Um, I noticed that, yeah, obviously people do favor that more, but that's not the best thing for you. So like,
Mm-hmm.
I'll say companies kind of favor you staying in the same industry because now they feel like they come in with the idea they ain't got to train you. And that's another
Yeah.
reason I move around because even if it's in the same industry, every company different. So you still need to train me.
Yeah.
And I think people kind of get stuck in that area of thinking like, oh, I ain't even got a trainer. She been here for forever. Hell no, still train my asses. I don't know. I'm supposed to
Yeah.
what time frame I'm supposed to be calling payroll and stuff. Like
Yeah.
everybody call payroll at a different time, so don't do that to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, we gonna ease on off. I'm gonna peep at one thing because for some reason my computer's not updating. I really appreciate y'all being here, and I'm
Thank
so
you.
grateful we have 32 people. We got 27 likes. I appreciate that. For those of you who didn't like, I need to understand why you didn't. Do me a favor,
Come
like
to
the
the
damn
table and
video.
tell me why.
Come
Right?
to the table and tell me why. We need a meeting. Close the door. Close the door. We have to have a chat. Girl, I do not miss working in the office. Have to always to be closed. They'd be like, dang, Timeka, you asked me to close the door. I know it's about to be deep.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I know. Come on, sit down, shut the door. Come on, sit down. Uh, but we're gonna head on off here. Akita, did you have fun?
Duh. Of course I had fun. Well, listen, I could talk about this forever. We'll be here till 10 o'clock at night, just talking,
You know,
talking.
you don't
But
know how we do. See, I'm behaving tonight.
yeah. Oh my gosh. So I mean, most importantly, did they have fun? I feel
Yes.
like the conversations we have, this is second nature to us. We eat,
Yeah,
sleep, and breathe this stuff.
we do.
And so sometimes it is always good that I'm reminded that not everyone knows these nuances. Not everyone's
Seriously.
comfortable, and everyone feels confident to,
Hmm.
talk with their chest up as you and I do, because we already know, like, what you gonna do to me?
What are you gonna do?
Hey,
What you
what you
gonna do?
gonna do to me? Okay, I already read your book. I already read your book. I know what I can and cannot do. So I think that sometimes I can come across very confident, but because I am. And so my goal is always to make sure that others feel just as confident navigating to this space. It's a very rewarding career.
Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
I hope
Yeah.
everyone who wants to be in HR gets that opportunity because I love it.
I love it. I can't lie. I love it. I love it. I thank the Lord so much that He put me to working on my passion. Like,
Mhm.
I didn't know how I was gonna get here. My path was so different. Or my idea of what my path was, but I just didn't want to be like the baby boomers who always like, oh, I gotta go to work tomorrow. I was like, I want
Yeah.
to enjoy it. Like, I want to
Yeah.
feel like it's something worth going to. Y'all give us a one in the chat if y'all really enjoyed it. Give us a one in the chat if you're
I'm gonna
like,
put my
nah.
one in the chat
Let me put
too,
my one in the chat because see, we need ones up in
because
this chat,
I
child.
enjoyed it.
Yes, I
I
really
enjoyed
enjoyed
it.
it. Oh
Well,
my
I
God,
hope
I'm
I
so
get to
amazed
come
that Wendy's
back.
on here. You better come back. We're gonna talk about this. You coming back, child. You coming back. Ain't nobody got time. I have not seen my girl Wendy in so long. Wendy, how you doing? I know there's a time difference for you. Hey, Ayana, all my mentees are coming in like last minute. They like
Aw,
skirting in at the end.
hi,
I love it.
Minty.
Oh, I love the ones in the chat. Oh my goodness. Thank y'all so much. If y'all want to see Akita again, give me a 2. If y'all feel like, you know what, we like her, Tamika, don't be telling her to come back in our group and you ain't give us authority to say what we're gonna do. You right? I'm gonna let y'all vote. Y'all want to see her come back, then please give us a 2. I would put my 2 in, but we already know I want her back. So I want to know if
I
you
too
guys
in because I
want her
want to come
back.
back.
You better come back. Otherwise, I'm driving to Virginia and I'm just gonna be like, here we go.
We need to do a in-person live one. That would
We
be
do.
so much fun.
That is so much fun. And we can stay on much longer because I
Yeah.
love when you and Janae go live. Y'all talk about everything under the sun
Oh my
here.
God, we'll be in there for 4 hours. And
Y'all
I'm like,
literally be on live for
yeah,
like 4 hours.
literally.
And they will talk about everything from the career to the plans ahead to the dating life to the married life. Like I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, good
Yeah.
insight.
We'll give you a little
Yes.
fashion. We'll cover it
Little
all.
fashion,
Okay.
everything. I love it. I'm like, I need to come in person because this looks so much more fun,
Yeah.
like in person. Y'all are amazing. Girlie, want you back,
Thank
child. So we just got to
you.
figure out a date.
Thank you for the love, everyone. Thank you for accepting me and letting me come and share my experience with your audience. Like I know
Accepting you. You
you
my
love your
twin.
group. So thank you for sharing your
Yeah,
family with me.
my group as a everybody, y'all, just so y'all know, because I'm happy y'all hear this from Akita, because it's my girl. We talk all the time. We just got to meet. We literally talk all the time. But y'all, let me tell y'all something. Everybody don't get an opportunity to be coming on this live here now. I'm very sensitive about who coming up behind the screen with me. So she ain't lying. She knows I'm touchy about y'all.
Yeah,
We talk about
yeah,
that too. We talk about business.
yeah. Y'all are her
Um,
people, y'all her cousins, y'all her mentees. She don't play about y'all, okay? She don't play about
don't be
y'all.
coming in here and telling my people all kind of shit. Because you're gonna piss me off. No ma'am. Don't be telling me all kind of stuff. I done did that one time. No, let me stop for y'all. Go back and look at my lives and then figure out who I talk about. But like, we ain't doing that no more. All right, y'all. We gonna get on out of here because this AC obviously drive my voice out. And Makita, thank you so much. I love you to pieces.
Thank
I
you. No,
really
I love you
do.
back, twin.
Y'all, we gonna text each other like 6 in the morning, 11 at night. We don't even care, child. We
Yes.
didn't get deep, y'all. Y'all ain't know we deep. All
Well,
right,
I
y'all.
thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for allowing me to introduce myself to you and be a part of your evening. So, thank you.
Yes. And just to help y'all out, because this isn't Akita's first time, we had a very different conversation, I feel, the last time. I'll put the link. It takes a little while for YouTube to get this together. So tomorrow, in the morning is usually when I go in and dive in. But I'm gonna put the link to the old live so y'all can check that out as well, because that was a very, very fruitful one. And I know y'all gonna be like, oh yeah, y'all were just learning each other back then. Y'all were very like
Yeah.
corporate. No, today we chatting and shit,
Yeah, yeah.
man.
Now
Yeah.
we're family. We're full family. Mm-hmm.
You are so silly. I love you, boo.
Love you back. Mwah.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye bye.